Hello, I am Avilas Chan and welcome to Complete LaTeX tutorial series. In this video, we shall learn to create lists, write most basic tables and arrays, and also how to turn off default indenting throughout the document. You may practice writing this document with me. So, without further ado, let us start today's class. As usual, first let me save this untitled document as class 4. Now, in preamble, let me define my document class. As I have mentioned in my previous classes, I will always use AMS Map, AMS Sim and AMS Font packages in all of my map documents. Here, I will also use another additional package \parindex 0px so that by default my new lines will be starting without an indent. Let me write \parindex 0px in my preamble. Next, let me start document environment by typing begin document and end document. Now, let me create a title page as I have shown in my previous classes. So, here our title page is created. Now, let us create a section for lists. Okay, our list section is created. Now, let me zoom in a bit. Let's say I want to create a list for laptop, phone, camera, mouse, keyboard and headphones. So firstly, I will create a list using line breakers or using double backslashes. Let me write laptop double backslash, phone double backslash, camera double backslash and so on. If I run this, you can see that our list is created, but this is not the actual way of creating lists. So let's create a numbered list. First, let me create a subsection for this named as numbered lists. Okay, our subsection is created for numbered lists. To create a numbered list, we have to use enumerate package. So let me write in preamble \use package in curly bracket enumerate. Okay, I have written in my preamble \use package enumerate. Now let me go back to my subsection numbered lists. I will create a number list by typing our list items between begin enumerate and end enumerate, that is in enumerate environment. So in this enumerate environment, we will type our listed items. So let me create a number list of above items by typing \item laptop, \item phone, \item camera and so on. That is, here in enumerate environment, I have used \item command before each of my list items. Now, if I run this, my enumerated list is created and as you can see here, my list is created and these are numbered by default from 1 to 6. Next, let me create a bulleted list of same items. I will create a subsection for this first. Okay, a subsection for our bulleted list is created. Now, to create a bulleted list, we have to type our list items in itemized environment, that is between begin itemized and end itemized. So, here I have typed my listed items laptop, phone, camera, etc. in my itemized environment. So, when I run this, you can see our bulleted list is created. Now, we will create a nested list. First, let me create another section for a nested list in a new page. So, I will use command OK. Another subsection named as nested list is created in a new page. Now, let me again write the above number list first. So, as you can see, first I have created a numbered list of same items. Next, let's divide laptop into ultrabooks and notebooks and let's say I want this also numbered. So I will again use begin enumerate and end enumerate for ultrabooks and notebooks. So here after my \item laptop, I will write begin enumerate and end enumerate and in between them I will write \item ultrabooks and \item notebooks. Now if I run this, you can see another numbered list consists of Ultrabook and notebooks of laptop section is created. So this is an example of nested lists. Now let me create few more nested lists in the same number list. Now let me create a bulleted list of keyboard, say multimedia, virtual and QWE RTY keywords. So I will use itemized code after \item keyboard here. And if I run this, you can see another nested list in keyboard is created, consists of multimedia, virtual and QWE RTY. Next, let me again create another bulleted nested list for multimedia keyboards, say internet and wireless. So I have to again use itemize. So let me type begin itemize and end itemize after \item multimedia, and here my listed items are internet and wireless. So if I run this, you can see another nested list of multimedia is created. Now let's create another subsection, say extras. Here we want our number list items as A, B, C, D, etc. instead of usual 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So for this we have to type capital A dot inside a square bracket after begin enumerate like this. So as you can see here I have typed capital A dot in a square bracket after begin enumerate. So if I run this, my number list items are named as A, B, C, D, etc. instead of usual 1, 2, 3, etc. Next, let's say we want our list numbering start from number 7 instead of usual 1 for some reasons. So here we have to write \set counter in a curly bracket enumi followed by 6 in another new curly bracket. Let me write this in another page. So as you can see here I have written \set counter in curly bracket enumi in another curly bracket 6. So if I run this, you can see in output my numberings start from number 7, and since I have used new page command, it is starting in another new page. Next, we can also create a list with a random numberings, say 2, 7, C, 9, no number and 11. For this, we have to write in square bracket our desired number after every item in enumerate environment. Let me demonstrate this by creating a subsection named as random number list. So our subsection named as random number list is created. Now let me write the codes for our listed items. So here after every item I have written my desired numbers or text for each item, and for keyboard I have left it blank. Now let's see what happens when I run this. As you can see, we have successfully formed a random number list. Next, moving on, let me create another section for tables named as tables part 1. So we have created table section. Table is created in tabular environment, that is, we need to write rows and columns of our table between begin tabular and end tabular. First, we'll create a simple 2 rows and 6 centered place or center justified columns table. Here by center justified columns, we mean the contents of the column will be placed at the center. So for 6 center placed or center justified columns, we need 6 C's in a curly bracket after begin tabular, and for new rows we can simply use a line break or 2 backslashes. First, let me write up to this. So here I have used 6 C's for 6 center placed columns, and in rows I have used and 1 and 2 and 3 etc. to move to next cell or next column in each row. Now let me run and see what happens. So our table is created, but it doesn't have any boundaries. So here, since we need vertical bars in each column, we'll put vertical bar between every C's here in coding section. So I have put vertical bars between every C here in coding section. Now let me run and see what happens. As you can see, column boundaries are created. Now to complete this table, we need additional 3 horizontal lines here and between x and fx, and lastly another horizontal line after fx. For horizontal lines, we need \hline command. So let me write \hline command for each row boundary in appropriate places this way. First, I will use \hline command here before x row. Now I will put another hline command after x row, and finally another hline command after my fx row. Now when I run this, you can see that my table is complete. Next, let's try to put a fraction using frac command in above table and see what happens. First, let me add some vertical space here and write above table containing a fraction 1 by 2. So here I have written \v space in curly bracket 10 point to add a little bit of vertical space, and in my second row and second column element as 1 by 2. Now if I run this, you can see that another table containing 1 by 2 is created, but here 1 by 2 is not fitted properly inside the table as it overlaps with above and below horizontal line. So to resolve this issue, we can use rstress command so that 1 by 2 can fit bit better here. So let me write the code first. So I can write rstress command this way before begin tabular command, and if I run this, you can see that 1 by 2 is fitted properly here and it does not overlap with above and below horizontal lines. So here in curly bracket we can write 1.5 or any other numbers according to our needed size. Now let me write above table containing rstress command in table environment or in between begin table and end table, so that my future table sizes won't be altered to 1.5 rstress by default. So I am going to write begin table before rstress command and end table after my end tabular command. So here I have put my baseline stress table in between begin table and end table. Now let me run this and see what happens. Okay, this is taking my table to top of the page, which I don't want. So here I need an additional float package in preamble and write capital H in square bracket after begin table. H stands for here. So first I need an additional float package in preamble. Let me write in my preamble section float package. Now let me go back to my document environment. I will write capital H in square bracket after begin table. So here I have written capital H in square bracket after begin table. To resolve the issue, I want my table exactly here where I have written my code, and when I run this, you can see that my table is exactly where I have written my code. Next, I can add captions to either top of my table or bottom of my table by using \caption command either before begin tabular or after end tabular respectively. So here I am going to give an example of writing the captions at the bottom of my table. So I need to use \caption command after end tabular. Now let me write the code. So you can see that I have written the same code of above table, but this time here I have added \caption command after end tabular for my caption to show at the bottom of my table. Now let me run this, and as you can see that there is a caption at the bottom of my table. Okay, but here this looks bit odd as my caption part starts from center whereas my table is left justified. So here I am going to use centering command to move my table to center of the page. Now let me run this. As you can see, my table has moved to the center of the page, and below that there is my caption. This looks good. Now let me start tables part 1 section here. As we have covered most basic concepts of writing a table, there are few other things yet to learn in table section which I am going to explain in another separate video. Moving on, let's create a section for arrays. Okay, our section for arrays is created. Align environment puts everything in math mode. Whatever we write between begin align and end align turns green. That is, all the text in this portion are written in math mode. And another thing we should know about align environment is by default it gives every new line numberings. So when I use double backslashes or soft written here, next line should be assigned to a new equation number by default. Let me try to solve an equation in this coding section using align environment. So as you can see, here I have put a soft return or double backslashes after my first line to give it a new numbering, and after my final line or second line I have not put any soft return because it is my last line in this align environment. Now let me run. As you can see, I have default numberings now on both of my equations. Next, to make these equations look bit better, we can align the equal signs by using and equal to instead of only equal to sign. So let me again write the code. Here you can see that I have used and equal to instead of only equal to just to make my equal signs aligned. And if I run this, you can see that my equal signs are aligned and this looks bit better. Another thing you should notice that here in my second align environment, my equation numberings are starting from equation 3. So throughout the document, whenever we use align environment for default numbering the equations, we don't have to worry about numbering them manually, as by default it will auto assign the next number to our equation. Next, let me give another example in which equal signs are aligned. So this is another example in which equal signs are aligned, and as you can see, this align environment starts from equation number 5 by default. Next, if we want, we can turn up our equation numberings by using align star command instead of align command. So let me demonstrate this by writing the above equation using align star command. So here I have used align star instead of aligned, and if I run this, you can see that there are no default equation numberings here. Next, let me write another equation using align just to show how next numberings will start automatically. So again I have used align environment to write an equation here, and if I run this, you can see that my next equation starts from 8 by default. So with this, let us conclude today's class. In today's class, first we have created a title page, then we learn how to write lists, number lists, bulleted lists, nested lists, random number lists, tables part 1, and finally arrays. I will make another video about creating fancy tables in some later video. Don't forget to practice all the things you have learned today. In our next video, we'll learn about creating a trivial title page and content page creation in addition to manipulations of default page numbers in document formatting. Thank you. Have a good day. Please like, comment, share and subscribe if you find this video useful.